Down with Xi Jinping, China's leader. Is the West preparing a color revolution in China? The 6 signs of involvement. This is what the Russian newspaper Pravda points out in its article. Protests broke out in China against the authorities' zero COVID policy, but the demonstrations of all the characteristics of a color revolution, quote unquote, the Pravda report said today, November 27, and points this out. The protest began November 23rd in Zhengzhou, Henan province, at a factory that makes iPhones for Apple under the auspices of Honhai Precision Industry, a major Taiwanese electronics company. The company, which employs 600,000 people, has been protested over poor working conditions and low wages, the Chronicle of Events. It is not difficult to guess that Apple's manufacturing complex, 2,000 kilometers from Taiwan, was not created here by chance. It's a symbol of the Western presence in the heart of China, its technological strength and its soft power, said the experts on issues of Chinese economy, Nikolai Vavilov. On November 24, a fire broke out in a high-rise building in the city of Urumqi in the Muslim Uyghur region of Qinghai province, the very one the West is so interested in. People lost their lives there, 10 of them, injuring 9. It was rumored that quarantine measures prevented firefighters from reaching the scene quickly. In the background, Tiananmen 2.0. The demonstration started in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Wuhan, Nanjing, Lanzhou, and so on. According to local media, on dozens of university campuses, students honored the memory of those who died in Xinjiang province and regretted the policy of zero tolerance for COVID cases. In several cities, residents of quarantined neighborhoods tore down barricades set up by authorities and took to the streets. In Shanghai, a demonstration was held in a financial center on a street called Urumqi. They said, "We demand human rights, we need freedom," were the slogans of the demonstrators. Today, Sunday, November 27, the protesters came out again and demanded the release of the protesters who were detained yesterday, Saturday, November 26. The indication of Western involvement. Chinese President Xi Jinping warned his colleagues at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, CSO, about the risk of color revolutions in September. It seems right now that he needs to take urgent action as Tiananmen 2.0 looms on the horizon. The signs of a color revolution are evident. The trigger is an accident on the basis of which the rage of the population is ignited. There is symbolism. The main symbol now is a white sheet of white paper. Adopted in Hong Kong in 2020, these protests have been called a color revolution by Chinese authorities as they were coordinated by the head of the political section of the U.S. Consulate General in Hong Kong, Julie Yide. The anti-war demonstrators in Moscow also used white sheets this year. The declared goal of the color revolution is to replace authoritarian and tyrannical political regimes with democratic and liberal ones. There are such slogans, from those already mentioned above to "Down with Xi Jinping," "Down with the Communist Party." An information company linked to the Western media was found supporting the protests, projecting the protesting disaffected, expressing, supposedly, the opinion of the supposed majority of the population or a huge part of it. The initiators of such coup attempts are always local political elites with the support of United States. It's known that at the recent Congress of the Chinese Communist Party, the opposition to Xi Jinping, which came from the party's youth and was driven by the Western agenda, was crushed. There's good reason to speed up the coup. The protest began when it became clear that Taiwan's breakaway Democratic Party had lost local elections and a peaceful political option to reunify with China under the leadership of Kuomintang emerged. It became clear that the people of Taiwan do not look favorably on a military confrontation with China, watching what is happening in Ukraine. China's COVID protests, blank sheets, are our latest symbol. Students join in the agitation. The developments in Taiwan. As Nikolai Vavilov writes, the countdown has begun for the United States 2 years before the election of a new president of Taiwan, who will likely announce the start of the accession process to the People's Republic of China by analogy with Hong Kong. The United States, without a fight, will lose its colony and the ability to threaten China's industrial centers, will in fact lose their hegemony in East Asia, which they won as a result of World War II, he writes. Protests spread across China as anger mounts over COVID-0 policy. Lessons from Tiananmen Square. The sinologist believes that the lessons learned from the 1989 Tiananmen Square events in China have been properly assimilated. Xi Jinping is not Deng Xiaoping. Of course, there are special methods to consolidate society on patriotic principles and activate appropriate layers of society to solve the mass outbreak. Of course, extraordinary administrative decisions will also be needed in the state control of the People's Republic of China. Vasilyev is confident. He points out that if the Chinese Communist Party, under the yoke of economic problems and protests, collapses and is banned, similar events like those of the USSR in the 1990s will seem like child's play. China signals no change to zero COVID-19 policy amid mass protests that challenge Xi. This is, I've translated for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.